You've wasted countless nights, more than you'd care to count. Don't try to deny it. You've gone to bed, feeling that something is wrong, carrying the quiet certainty that the day was just another unremarkable chapter. And yet, here you are, trapped in the same routine, hoping for change to somehow happen on its own. I'm going to tell you something you might not want to hear. Change is not a miracle. It's not a soft whisper or a gentle breeze. Change is a force, an assault on your complacency. It doesn't knock politely, it barges in. You either seize it or it will pass you by, leaving you exactly where you are. There's no middle ground. You have a life that leaves you unfulfilled. You feel it in your chest every time you turn off the lights and face the silence. You don't need me to remind you of this. Yet instead of facing it, you lie to yourself. You repeat the same tired excuses. I'll start tomorrow. It's not the right time. I need to take care of this or that first. And so, the days slip away, the years too. But listen carefully. Tonight can be different. Not because the stars align, or because the universe has chosen you for something grand, but because you have the power to choose tonight. Right now. No more waiting, no more excuses. Here's the revelation. Your story isn't etched in stone. You have the power to rewrite it. You can change the plot, become the protagonist of your life, instead of remaining a mere extra in your own narrative. But there's a price. The price is truth. The method is as simple as it is brutal. A notebook, a pen, and the silence of the early hours. 3 things, nothing more. You don't need a guru, a new self-help book, or an ideal moment. You just need to sit down, take a breath, and write. Write honestly. Write about what you're doing wrong. No filters, no sugarcoating, no convenient excuses. The problem is, you haven't changed because you're afraid to look at yourself, truly, deeply, honestly. You avoid the mirror because you know the truth. Nietzsche once said, "Become who you are." But here's the paradox. To do so, you first have to uncover who you really are. And this is not something you can do with motivational quotes or empty affirmations. This is about confronting your mistakes, your fears, your doubts with surgical precision. This is painful work. The philosopher Dogen said, "Suffering is the most powerful tool to know yourself." You've been running from it, numbing yourself with distractions, with fleeting entertainment, with the comforting lie that if you ignore the problem long enough, it will disappear. It won't. The truth is that change only comes when you dare to look beneath the surface, when you tear away the blinders and face what lies beneath. And what lies beneath, if you're honest, is a disaster. But here's the key. Disasters can be rebuilt. Mistakes can be corrected. Stories can be rewritten. Think of Tarantino, a man with no connections, no clear path forward, yet with an unrelenting passion for the story he wanted to tell. And here's the critical part. He told his story, not the one the world expected of him, not the one his circumstances suggested, but his. What about you? What story are you writing? Is it yours, or is it a script imposed by others? The difference between those who change and those who remain stuck in mediocrity is simple. The former face themselves with the same rawness Tarantino faces his scripts. They don't soften reality. They don't cover up their mistakes. They don't hide behind excuses. They face their truth head on. Here's the challenge. Tonight, when the world is asleep and the noise fades into silence, take a notebook. Write. No censorship, no mercy. Write everything you're doing wrong, every decision that has led you astray, every fear that holds you back, every excuse you have used to avoid moving forward. Write until it hurts. And when it hurts, keep writing. Then find solutions. Don't justify your actions. Don't tell yourself it's not that simple. Of course, it's not easy. If it were, everyone would be doing it. But here's the part no one tells you. You don't have to solve everything tonight. You only need to make one decision, a small one. Something concrete you can do tomorrow to begin shifting the direction of your life. Because if you wait for the perfect moment to begin, you'll never begin. If you wait for the fear to disappear, it never will. The only way to conquer fear is to act despite it. The only way to change your life is to pick up the pen and rewrite your story. Right now, tonight. This is the truth no one tells you. You can change your life in a single night, not because everything will be solved right away, but because the moment you confront reality without excuses, everything starts to shift. There is no fate that has been preordained. There is no written ending. The only thing that exists is the story you dare to write for yourself, and the story you resign yourself to living. Which one will you choose? And if you've made it this far, it's because deep down, a part of you knows you can't keep ignoring the emptiness you feel every night. That emptiness is proof that something in your life is not working. It's not a matter of luck, of external circumstances, or the world being against you. It's a narrative problem. Your life isn't unfolding by itself. It's being written with every decision you make, and more importantly, with every decision you avoid making. You think inaction is neutral, but it's not. Every time you put off what you know you need to do, you're making an active choice to stay where you are. And here's the uncomfortable truth. If you don't take the pen and become the author of your own story, someone else will write it for you. The expectations of others, the routine that slowly numbs you. How many people do you know who are just filling space in their lives, stuck in jobs they hate, relationships that don't nourish them, in bodies that feel alien, in minds that no longer belong to them? Do you know why they're there? Because at some point, they made the choice that it was easier not to choose. It was more comfortable to go with the flow and convince themselves that this is life. But that is the most dangerous lie. This is life. Life is what you decide it will be. And this is the most important thing you must understand. There is not one single version of your story. There are hundreds, each waiting in the shadows. The path you take, the version you become, depends on the choices you make from now. It could be the version that stays stuck, that continues to make the same mistakes, that continues to find excuses. Or it could be the version that takes control, sits down at the table, and begins dissecting the truth with brutal honesty. And I know what you're thinking. You don't have the time, the energy, the clarity. But what you lack is the courage to face what you know lies ahead when you begin writing. The problem isn't that you don't have the answers. The problem is that you do, but you don't like them. You know what you need to change. You know where you've gone wrong. But facing it, that's painful. Accepting that you've been the architect of your own misery means accepting that you could have made different choices. And that stings. But here's the twist. That pain is the only way out. It's the only doorway to freedom. If you have the courage to look at what you've done, you also have the power to change it. Most people don't go that far. They numb themselves with distractions, with empty entertainment, with the false hope that time will fix everything. Let me save you years of disappointment. Time does not fix anything unless you use it to change. And there's something else you may have overlooked: the power of silence. Think back to those moments when you truly understood something about yourself. It wasn't during the chaos. It wasn't while you were scrolling endlessly through your phone. It was in solitude, in the quiet moments before sleep, when there was no escape but your own thoughts. This is why the method demands the early hours, because night is the only time when the world stops interrupting you. It's the only moment when you can truly hear yourself without the noise. And here's the trick. If you're afraid to be alone with your thoughts, it's because you know what's in there. And that's exactly what you need to face. The night is your editing room. It's when you can cut the scenes that no longer serve you, rewrite the dialogues, change the tone of your story. But you don't have to do it all tonight. You just have to start. Every minute you delay is another minute someone else is writing your story for you. And if you need proof, think of Tarantino again. He didn't wait for permission. He didn't wait for approval. He locked himself in a room and wrote, because he understood something you may not have realized yet. You don't need anyone's permission to rewrite your story. And there's more. Change isn't just about adding new habits. It's about removing the old ones that are holding you back. Imagine your life as a film, one you've been shooting for years, but filled with bad scenes, repeated takes, moments that make no sense. Before you film something new, you have to edit what's already there. Tonight, write not only about what you want, but also about what you need to let go of. The relationship that drains you, the habit that destroys your health, the thought that keeps you stuck. Find them, name them, and do what a good director would do: eliminate them from your story. This is not magic. This is not some fleeting motivation. This is about action. It's about deciding to turn your life into a manual for transformation. Tomorrow, when you look in the mirror, you will know that for at least one night, you had the courage to face yourself without masks. If you do this, something inside you will shift. It won't be immediate. It won't be easy. But the difference between a story that fades into oblivion and one that leaves a mark isn't the perfection of the protagonist. It's the protagonist's ability to change course when everything seems lost. So, tell me, will you keep playing the extra in your own story? Or will you sit down tonight and start writing the role you were meant to play? And remember, there is no turning back. There's no sign telling you when the time is right. There's only tonight. Only this decision. And if you keep waiting, one day you'll look back and realize that time has slipped away. And with it, all the chances you missed.